How's it going, guys? I'm Zephyros, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a hero spotlight on Arrogance, who, in my opinion, is one of the best heroes in the game. So I'm actually really looking forward to showing you guys how I use him, and where you can use him as well. So let's get into it. So Arrogance is currently on a 15x rate up banner with Lust, where Lust is the guaranteed hero after 250 summons. If you're not sure whether you should be summoning for Arrogance or for Lust, if you don't have them both at A5, it's worth summoning. They're both just top tier heroes that can be used in so many different areas of the game. It's just worth pulling for them. So let's get into Arrogance's kit. Okay, so to start with, Arrogance's cost is 18, which is pretty standard for a fighter. He's got an attack interval of 2.4 seconds. Sorry, I think it's 2.6 seconds. Um, and so his base HP for a fighter, it's pretty low. So he is a bit squishy, but you don't need him to be that tanky for the areas of the game that you use him. So you compare him to like a Jira or Ardea or Valderon, Valeria. He's not got anywhere near as much base HP as them. But the 17k, 17.5k HP that he's got, it's more than enough for Arrogance, right? Because if you get him A1, especially, he actually has a bit of self-sustain in his kit where he heals up. But let's go over his skills first, all right? So his talent. Demon Bow inflicts burning on the target. Demon Blades in normal stance. 30% chance to increase hero's attack speed by 40. Stacks up to 3 times for 10 seconds. So basically, you can increase his attack speed up to 120. Um, and so the two kind of modes, his Demon Bow, if a target is outside of his direct range, so essentially more than one square away from him, he's going to be using his bow, which is a ranged attack. Whereas if they're directly in front of him, one square in front of him, then he'll use his Demon Blades, which is a physical attack where he's in close combat, basically. Okay. Um, then we'll go to his basic attack. So deals when it's fully skilled up, deals 120% damage with Demon Blades to one enemy in within one tile. So that's obviously if they're within one tile of him. If none are in range, deal single target damage with Demon Bow instead. So he'll shoot them with the bow. So it's important to note here, if he's got someone in within one tile of him, he will prioritize them. He won't attack the further away units with his bow, right? Next, his passive. So for every enemy that he kills, whilst he's in Berserker stance, which is his ultimate, he receives 1 stack of that attack speed bonus, and then when the stance ends, he basically deals just a ton of AoE damage up to 10 people. Okay, um, so you want him killing, right? Which Arrogance does not struggle to do. Next passive, if he's in his demon bow stance, he's going to basically have a 25% chance to attack 2 people. If he's in his demon blade mode, he's got a 1 in 4 chance of doing a double hit. Right, so fairly straightforward. He's also got a bond skill with Lust. His bond skill is so good because when he's in his ultimate, it basically just boosts his attack by 15%, which is incredible. And then in his ultimate, he basically enters Berserker stance and does a ton of extra damage with each attack, and it increases his range. So where he normally has kind of that hammer kind of Zillitu kind of range, which is just these tiles here and then the 2 tiles extended, it basically adds an extra 2 tiles on the sides there. So it makes it almost that piercer kind of platform piercer range. And this ultimate slaps. the amount of damage he does in this ultimate is unreal. And the best bit about Arrogance, right, is, well, not the best bit, there's loads of good bits about him, but one of the easiest bits about Arrogance is that his ultimate is automatic. You don't need to sit there and manually trigger it. It will just go, right? So it just makes him so easy to use. There is a drawback to that, which is in guild versus guild, for example, you don't need to send a unit to bait the ultimate with Arrogance because he will naturally go, even if there's no one in range, he will naturally go into his ultimate. So you can actually wait out his ultimate without having to send a unit. Less of an issue now because in season 5 maps, Arrogance has nowhere near as much viability as he has had in previous seasons. But yeah, it's just something to note. All right, so that's his skills. I realized I didn't actually go through his base stats in terms of his attack. So his base attack is 5.2k, which isn't that high when you compare him to some other attackers like your Valeria or your Valderon, um, or your Ardeas, right? It's not that high compared to them, but for what Arrogance needs, it is more than enough. Right. So yeah, he with his awakenings, his A1, it just like I said earlier, it gives him a bit of just a bit of survivability. He basically restores a bit of HP whenever he's in his ultimate. A2, normally on an A2 you get like a it's more often than not it's just an attack boost, but with Arrogance you get crit damage, right? His A3 is arguably his most useful. Um, he just deals 15% extra damage when he deals burning. Now, Arrogance in his if you place him further away from a unit, he's already applying burning himself, right? So he's just going to be buffing himself, so you don't even need to place him with anyone else to get that bonus. Then his A4, pretty standard, you just get a bit of a extra raid regen. His A5, when entering Berserker stance, immediately receives the maximum, so he gets the massive attack speed bonus. And then for his first 5 attacks, when he's in his ultimate, he just deals an extra 100% extra damage. So it just increases his damage. His A3 and his A5 are his most useful, but his A3 is the big one, right? That's the one you really want to have to really max out, really kind of push that damage up. And in it with his artifact, so I've got him in a Eye of Mockery that's not leveled. It's only up to 10. I've not pulled it very often. I could throw in a few of these, but I just don't need it. Um, for what I use Arrogance for, this is more than good enough. If you don't have Eye of Mockery, then you'd really be placing him in most likely a Realm Tear and just keeping him as far back as possible if you're using him in PvE. So places like Guild Boss. And there are so many areas of the game where Arrogance is useful. Void Rift, incredible. He's really useful in Epilogue. Like I've put a video out on Epilogue Stage 6 where I use Arrogance. Obviously, the promotion raids, you can use him. Gear raid, I use him in Gear raid 3. You technically could use him in Gear raid 1 as well. AMR. AMR, I was playing around with this earlier. You can do AMR with Arrogance as the I'll show you with Arrogance as the solo DPS, right? So place Arrogance there, place Torador, speed it up. Now Torador's obviously got his own self revive, right? So technically don't even need to put the healer down. Put Regulus down so that he can tank when this guy does his quick attack. But look, Arrogance has pretty much already taken him down, right? So solo DPS, Arrogance is able to do AMR comfortably, right? And you look at the damage that he's doing. He's like doing like close to a mil hit every time he's in his ultimate. Right? So the damage that he does in a short period of time is absolutely crazy. Like in that time, he's done 10 mil damage, like crazy. Obviously, AMR, the boss, doesn't exactly have the highest base stats, but if I show you Guild Boss, because in Guild Boss 1, Arrogance has been in my team for month. I have not changed this auto run in months, right? And yeah, look, he's able to do 155 million. Um, and he's not in like my best gear either. Um, but let me show you the build that I've got Arrogance in. So if he was in a obviously a higher leveled Eye of Mockery, he would be pushing 23k plus. You don't actually need him to be in 23k plus. As long as he's like 21.5k plus, he's fine. You obviously want to be, once you've crit capped, you want to be pushing in the crit damage. Don't don't feel like you need to throw on loads of speed, right? This is a common mistake I see with loads of builds. You don't need every substat to be speed. You're actually better off once you've pushed him to about 1.2, 1.3 second interval, then you can start piling on crit damage. So I've not put attack speed here when if I wanted to, I could, but I just don't because I say that. Yeah, so if I wanted to put him in attack speed, the option's there, but I just prefer not to because I think pushing the crit damage is actually much better. Same thing here. I've not put attack speed in him. I've actually put in a bit of extra rage regen because once you're at a certain attack interval, rage regen starts to become a bit more useful, and then you just again want to push more of the damage. And then obviously he's going to have attack speed, and then where I can, I try and get the quad. So with the flat attack as the fourth substat. Right, but again, you don't. His gear doesn't need to be this high for a lot of the content. You could just easily put him in pieces like this, right, where your usual kind of ancient mythic gear with the attack bonus as the main stat. So I do always try and put attack on Arrogance. I do try and put all three substats as attack bonus on him. But other areas of the game that you can use him. Um, Technically, you could use him in Guild Boss 2 APOC as well. I don't think I've actually done my APOC run yet. No, I haven't. But I do actually use him in my APOC 2. Obviously, in Faction Trials, he's really useful for the Nightmare comp. Immortal Codex. Which ones do I use Arrogance in Immortal Codex? I think I've actually stopped using him, but you could easily use him in Conqueror. If you don't have like the chaotic team comp, you could easily use him there. Lord of the Sticks, you could, or Arbiter of Frost, because he's applying burning, you could use him in the Arbiter of Frost. As that damage over time build up as well. So he's got so much viability in so many different areas of the game that for me he's a god tier for me. He's one of those units that can be just used everywhere, and he's so good. Guild GVG, even in arena in like AOE, you could use him in single target. You could use him if you don't have better options. He has viability, maybe not in like higher plat, but in kind of like when you're pushing like the Overlord, not Overlord, sorry, in Overlord, you wouldn't see Arrogance really used that much, but when you're in kind of the Platinums trying to push your way up, Arrogance would have viability. So yeah, that's Arrogance. Like I said earlier, if you don't have him at A5, you should be pulling to try and get him to have as high awakenings as possible because he's such a good hero. So yeah, that's my opinion. I will be putting out a video on Lust, Hero Spotlight soon. So look forward to that. But until then, catch you guys soon. Stay blessed.